nightmare world of the 41st millennium. There is only war.
We captured their leader.
Does he carry the mark of chaos?
Destroy them. Traitor.
Blood for the blood god.
Space Crusade takes you into warp space to fight the force of chaos. Deep in a parallel universe where nightmares are real. Space Crusade, the ultimate adventure game, where you must use all your skill and weaponry
Plasma gun! Dreadnought!
to battle through infested starships and win the highest rank. The ultimate encounter is here. Space Crusade, now with a new adventure pack.
Oh, shit, I put us on the wrong one. Hey, what's up, guys? I am Zombie Fishers. I really hope you enjoyed that awful commercial that we found on YouTube. I love it. And that little super cheesy whatever the hell that was. I don't know. I just found it on YouTube, and I was like, dude, I gotta have this. This is amazing.
Space Crusade.
Did you see that little video before, dude?
I was I loved it.
How great.
Traitor. It's just looking at him. Traitor. Blood for the blood god. I'm just like, who scripted this? It isn't even. It's great. I love it.
But
Space Crusade does look fun.
yeah, from the 80s.
Yeah.
Anyway, today we are going to be talking about the Adeptus Custodes because we got asked about it in the Discord, and I was like, you know what? I don't know enough about the Custodes myself. It's been a while since I've fought them. I think, man, I played them a whole bunch in 9th edition with Derth Gerd, and I just rolled over them usually in Derth Gerd. I kind of feel like that was kind of a bad matchup for them back then.
Welcome, stray soul. You may speak, but the dice decide fate here.
Allie J, what's up? Good to see you. Cola said, not much, sorry, couldn't catch the last stream. We were playing 40K tonight or just chatting. No, we're just chatting today. We're going over those Custodes, and then we're also gonna touch on the Derth Gerd and the World Eaters. I am super pumped about the Derth Gerd Codex. But yeah. So Cody, how are you? It's been a minute since we've been on stream.
Yeah. Super happy to be back. Glad I finally got some time away from the old ball and chain. No, I love her. She's the best. But yeah, went to a little tournament 2 weeks ago. A team tournament up in Tampa, in Florida. Super cool. It was ATC 5-man. Went my group is about 8 players, so we picked up a couple subs and we split into 2 different teams, and yeah, that was a blast. Team tournaments are just so much fun. You get to play kind of like off meta list, and teams off meta is meta because you have to kind of take unique things that can synergize well into your opponent's list, and there's a cool extra dynamic to pairings and stuff. Instead of just randomly getting an opponent like in singles, your team strategizes who to play against who, and it's a really neat atmosphere. I did actually play my singles list more for practice, but because I got a big GT coming up. But yeah, we did great. I went 4-1. I did unfortunately lose a second game in a row to a very competitive player, Dustin Hammond. I think he was actually just featured on Art of War, actually. But
Oh, nice.
he was my only loss. He's an Imperial Knight player. He denied me of a golden ticket like a month ago. So, but he's a great player. Him and I are going up together to Mabane, North Carolina for the Mayhem GT. So if anyone on here is going to Mayhem, love to grab a beer with you while we're there, or old fashioned, or whatever your preference is.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I wish I could go, but unfortunately, that is we are working that weekend, and we got a whole bunch of stupid crap going on that weekend. In particular, I'll actually be gone that Thursday, which my ball and chain. Just kidding. I love my wife dearly. She is amazing. She is not happy that I'll be gone Thursday. I will be super happy when I get out of the military, but because I'll be able to do things like go to Mayhem and those things. It seems like, dude, work just always seems like it falls on that perfect weekend where you can't do, like where we can't do something.
For real.
Super irritating.
Yeah.
But John, what do you got going on, bud?
Well, just taking clips of you guys talking about the ball and chain to use as blackmail in future instances where it is
No.
necessary.
Don't ban
Got you
him.
both.
Ban him. No.
You guys are cooked. Just work. A little excited about World Eaters.
You should
until
be.
I read it, and then I was a
What?
little less excited about some things. I didn't like
What?
the change to Angron.
Oh yeah, he's dog shit now. But
I
that's
didn't
a
like
whole
the
different
Angron
problem.
change. I didn't like it. I liked Angron where he was at. I
Yeah, he's like
painted
that-
him.
He's like a support model now almost, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, he's one of my few painted models. It upsets me big. I think he looks good.
Yeah, there's a lot of big changes going on right now. It seems like with how they're having these things interact with each other. Like the demons and how they're about to be fielded, which I think we talked about a couple streams ago, where we were saying I was hoping that they weren't going down this route where they're basically going to get rid of the demons codex, and they're just going to become like a little subsidiary of like their
Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, their Chaos
Well-
Space Marine chapters.
So when I was at Worlds, I did talk to some of the main guys behind the game at GW, and they assured me then. I mean, they could obviously change their mind, or he could have been talking out of his ass, but they assured me that they weren't going to get rid of demons as a standalone faction.
Thank God.
He did say that they're not ever going to release. They don't have any plans to release a codex for them, but they have like 7. We have like 7 or 8 detachments now, so we don't really need it. We kind of have a codex already, basically, for free. If you think about it, we have 1 detachment for each god. We have a Baelagor detachment. We have the default detachment, and then so we have 6 just demon detachments, and then you can take all of those demons as a part of one of the other, and like the demon detachment from all the other books. So in a way, you almost have 10 detachments to play with them.
Yeah, and
That's a lot of value. Sorry,
That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of value.
throw that in there.
That's really nice to hear, man, because I was really worried that they were going to be getting rid of the codex. Like, I've been kind of wanting to go the total opposite way and have each chaos faction get their own book. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool, but that's probably not.
And we would never see word bearers.
Right? That's for sure, dude. Yeah,
That would you add in 4 more factions, and then now we don't get Night Lords or anything cool.
Dude,
Man, I
Wiki,
really hope they come out with some of
Whispers
them,
stir.
like some of those other detachments
new
for like kind of like they used to do. They
mere
used to
mortal
have all the
silence is
different
a
chaos
gamble.
chapters used to have their own
Speak
detachments back in
and
what, like
be
9th, 8th, and
marked.
9th. I hope they bring that back.
I am going to stop Talvrith from talking when new chatters come in because that is not working out well. And hello, Miss Seafoam. How are you today?
And Arby.
Oh, Arby, what's up?
Hello, everyone. Well, don't sound all excited. You were okay. Okay, you can't just glaze Miss Seafoam like that.
Okay, first of all, I didn't glaze shit. All right,
You glazed. You're
listen,
a little bit of a glazer.
I am trying to. I'm trying to focus.
All right, rope it.
It's not working out well right now. New chat response. There it is. Let me just turn that off because we are. This
Might
is
be
a
a little
talking
chaotic.
stream, so it's gonna get a little crazy if we have. I actually meant to do that earlier.
Armand said you need to tell Cody to hush when Talvrith is talking, like when you chastised me. Yeah, a little bit of a bias. Is it because Cody is just so much better than me? Just a better.
No,
better
we
dude?
Much better looking than you.
Ow! All right, turn the camera off. No face stream.
No, we just don't get
You gotta
Cody very often. You know what I mean? So I
You gotta look at this dude.
I gotta keep him. I want to keep him coming. You know what I'm saying? Like once.
Oh
once
yeah,
he,
keep him coming.
right.
Yeah.
Once he
Don't want
starts.
it to stop.
Yeah. Once he starts coming on more, then I'll be like, then I'll start unloading on him. But
Oh, well, okay. I thought you were about to go a different direction, but then you reeled it back in.
Daddy,
to
chill.
unloading on him. So I guess we're still with innuendos. Good. I like it.
saying that my mic is low. There, is that better? I feel like I
Nicole
do
said,
that.
"I'm here exclusively not to support John. This is goof."
I'm gonna see if I can fix my Mikey poo here. That's probably gonna be too much now.
Seafoam said, "You guys told us, ladies, we can't go book club on the stream anymore."
Okay.
I mean, you can't not do that. I didn't say you couldn't do it.
First
I
of
just
all,
said I would avert my eyes.
John is the
and
only
ban
one that
you.
has an issue with that because he is a big freaking baby, and because,
My
as-
virgin eyes.
yeah, because he's the 40-year-old virgin, as it were.
Yeah, I got the chest hair and everything. It's great.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's terrible. No, it is. It is terrible. And I've had my chest waxed before. Grows back within
God. Where are
grows
we
back
going
within
right now?
2 months.
I don't know.
Really hurts.
I don't
Okay,
know,
let's
dude.
let's go roll it back into Warhammer.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, RB. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's get past John's waxing of his chest.
It's such a painful experience.
Wow.
And
Worse than tattoos.
let's move into some custodes. So I've got their army rule pulled up right now. And in case we have some people that don't know, I'm gonna quickly go over the katas really quick. So basically, you choose one at the start of an attack sequence. Each time a unit from your army has ability selected to fight, select one of the kata stances below. You either get sustained hits or lethal hits. That's like the basic rules. Now, I don't want to sit here and drone on about which one, like going through each of these, but I figured what we could do is just kind of have like a conversation. I know John knows. Let me also say this. I am not super familiar with like up-to-date current custodes, so I will be learning in this as well for sure. But I would like, I know John is wanting to kind of get more into the tournament scene, and I kind of at least know what to look out for, at least somewhat. So what I'd like to do is kind of have just like a chit-chat conversation about what you think about custodes, how you would run them if you were playing them, what to look out for, and then we can kind of just take it from there.
Yeah, sure. So we'll get to the data sheets in a second, but really you already touched the core rule. The core rule for them is every time they activate in the fight phase, they're going to get sustained or lethals. Functionally, it's one of those sustained and lethals, the alternative there. It's the same thing that like Chaos Space Marines have. when they do their dark backs, although they get it in the shooting phase as well. But they have the downside of potentially taking mortals. It's one of those rules where very often sustained is just usually better. So sustained hits, when you talk about like the math behind like sustained hits 1, it is functionally the same as being +1 to hit. So being that all Custodes are 2+ to hit, it's functionally basically hitting with the number of attacks you get. It's almost like being a 1-up. So if you have 5 attacks with sustained 1 and you hit on 2s, you should hit 5 times on average. Lethals usually only outperform sustained hits when you need a 6 to wound. When you have a 5 to wound, it's pretty similar already as additional hits. Especially since sustained hits usually has the same average as lethals, but has a much higher potential. Because if you happen to roll 5 6s, you're getting 10 hits, right? So sustained hits is usually better. Not always. There are circumstances where it's not something that's -1 to wound or it lowers your stats, stuff like that. But usually it's better. And then when you talk about the detachments, the shield host is the main detachment I want to touch on in the main codex. There's 2 Grotmus attachments that are really good, but as far as the codex goes, there's only like 1 competitive detachment, and it's shield host. So if you wouldn't mind putting up shield host on the board.
Got it.
Perfect. So this is has like a WoW type rule where it's once per battle, you get a whole battle round bonus, and it's a really, really good one. Now this one changes the math dramatically on everything because it makes your unmodified hit rolls a 5-up scores a crit, which means your lethals are on 5s or your sustained are on 5s. Super good for a whole battle round.
Yeah, you went
which
from.
Means that,
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you're going from, instead of critting on 6s, which is 16% of the time, you're going to like 32% of the time. So you're critting double, basically. You're getting double the amount.
Yeah, like I said, so each point of that, so each sustained number that you're getting, so we're talking about sustained on 5-ups now, right? So it's 1 extra value that can trigger it. It's almost like being an additional +1 to hit. Not quite exact like that, but it's almost like that. So in a way, it's almost like being a 0-up to hit. If you have 6 attacks, right, it should be 7 hits on average, which is kind of crazy to think about that you're gonna with sustained anyway, right? This is why sustained is often so much better, or can be so much better than lethals, right? And if you're running lethals, you're like 2 auto wounds but only 3 hits. Your max output there is still 5 wounds. But with sustained, you could spike and be crazy math there. And then the additional AP is really nice. Now most of their melee weapons on like the Custodian Guard and the Wardens and all the different data sheets we'll get to later, most of them are around the AP2 naturally. So this would put them on AP3. Now AP2 is like the magic number, especially in melee, because it puts most things on their invul if they have an invul. The things that the extra AP really are good against is going to be like regular Space Marines who don't have invuls. A lot of vehicles don't have invuls, or have a high invul and a low armor save. So that extra AP will help against those things, but that's just like kind of like a bonus. It's really the crit on 5s that's really, really good. And you set up your game. You usually play a very passive first turn where you kind of just move forward. You kind of stage a little bit. You maybe get on some objectives, do some scoring. If you're running tactically, you try to get some good objective scoring, and then you have a go turn, which is kind of a competitive jargon. A lot of people talk about like their go turn. A lot of armies have a go turn where they have been hiding behind the wall all game. They pop their wall or their martial mastery detachment rule, and then they just go forward and try to do as much possible damage as they can in that one battle round, and hopefully it wins them the game.
So John, when you and I played Admech and Tau, not on this last stream, but when we played at the house, and I was I see a name. Say hi. My hubby's in here. Hi. What's up, Mr. Seafoam? I held my my breachers back for a little bit and then came out and just fucking laid waste to everything with them. That's what you're referring to, is like that one turn where you kind of just, you feed a little bit, you coax them out, you make them feel like it's all safe and good to go, and then bam, you just fucking unleash the hounds of let the hounds out. You know what I mean?
The
Yeah.
sustained and lethal conversation is super valuable because the new tout attachment, the prototype cadre, has where you can give them sustained or lethals. And I never really looked at that as objectively as maybe I could have, because what you're saying makes so much more sense. I was like, oh, lethals sound really good. I mean, you can choose both and give your guys hazardous, but sometimes it's just not worth it. So the takeaway from that, though, lethals to punch up into things with higher toughness to where you're not getting wounds consistently, and sustain pretty much other situations.
If you
where
ever
have
wound
strength.
something on 4s or better, you never do lethals ever. There's no circumstance where lethal will ever be better.
I was actually
If you
yeah, I was about-
ever wound on 6s, lethals is always better than sustained, unless you have multi-sustain. Like for example, a Lord of Change has like sustained D3, right? And it can take sustained D3 or lethals. You will always take sustained D3 no matter the circumstance, because sustained D3 is always better than lethals, no matter the math. And the only caveat is if you're like T20, which there's nothing in the game that, or T11 or higher with -1 to wound, which also doesn't exist. So it's lethals when you're wounding on 6s is better, and then sometimes lethals on 5s can be better. The math is very tight on that, but I think unless you're wounding on 6s, just go sustained. The volume is often better. It allows you to spike. You can get lucky and really swing some crazy math and then kill things you otherwise don't have the damage output to kill. Like if you have 5 attacks that do 2 damage each, your max damage output with lethals is 10. But if you take sustained, and your theoretical max damage output is 20.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just wanted to say hi to C-Web Gaming. They said I am high, and that is awesome. Super jealous.
Hi, I'm Dad.
Hi.
As I was stating before, I can't wait to retire because I will be right there with you. For sure.
No, he's saying that his name is Hi. I said hi, I'm Dad. Did no one gonna acknowledge
Yeah, we got your dad joke. You're not even a dad.
that? Yeah, I mean, I could potentially. I have the potential.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're so stupid, dude.
Technically, everybody does, I guess. I don't know.
Oh jeez. All right, let's continue on. Like I said, this is the main detachment from the codex that you'll see. So I would say you're pretty safe if you really want to like get a crash course against Custodes. It's this one and the 2 Grotmis detachments are the only ones you really need to care about. The other detachments you really won't see. But the shield captain that runs that first enhancement is really, really scary. He will bad touch you. The rest of the and then they'll take the Castellan's mark to get the redeploy. It's usually the only 2 enhancements they'll take. They don't take the other 2 really. They're not that great. And then honestly, their strats really aren't amazing. They're all pretty good. None of them are incredible. So you don't really have to worry about any crazy gotchas or anything like that. But if you want to go to the strats for this attachment, I'm going to call back to that enhancement, though. The one that is +1 strength and damage for a Blade Champion. I'll show you that later, why it's insane. Yeah, so obviously just solid stuff. The reactive for feeling the pains against mortals is always good. So that's really nice. Someone hits like Magnus hitting you with Doombolt, right? Like that's going to protect you there. Don't forget that this technically protects you from dev wounds as well, which is really, really, really important for custodians because they have a 2-up, 4-up. They're super durable, but they're not durable against dev. This protects you from that as well because dev wounds are mortal wounds, but it's mortal wounds that don't spill. Obviously, the next one's just a damage output boost. Just really solid. But like I said, the fallback shoot and charge is nice. Fallback shoot and charge is one of the strats where when you're using it in your turn, it works functionally the same as fights first, because it puts you back on the charge, so your opponent won't swing first. So cool. It also allows you to shoot, which is nice. You got a sticky objective one, which is very important because custodians or custodes don't usually have a ton of activations. So when they can make something sticky and then still go forward, really valuable. They're basically Martial Kata in the shooting phase where they get the lethals or sustained in shooting instead.
Yeah,
not super great.
I was about to say, because they're shooting, it's not terrible. AP -1, 2 damage apiece with most of it. It's not bad, but it's also kind of like, you know?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not necessary.
Yeah.
I probably, out of all these, I probably wouldn't ever use this personally.
And then they have a -1 to hit. That's also can be really good, but it depends on the circumstances, of course. And they also the caveat to it is that you have to be in control of the objective marker, so it doesn't work everywhere. So,
Yeah, and if you're wanting to look at the Grotmus detachment, I'm gonna have to put us on this screen, let you guys chit chat for a second, and let me pull it up because I suck and forgot to pull that up.
Yeah, it's I dropped a bit. It's so you have like the lion detachment. I forget the exact name of the lion one, and then you have the solar spearhead. So you basically have like the dreadnought detachment, and then you have the Terminator detachment. The Terminator detachment has arguably one of the coolest strats in the whole game. Also can break the game in some ways, so we'll talk about that. And more specifically, we'll just touch on the detachment rule in that strat. So we're not spending too much time on the detachment. And same thing with the Solar Spearhead. Solar Spearhead has just some cool combos. Solar Spearhead, nice. So basically, the way Solar Spearhead works, it gives all of your vehicles extra OC, so long as they're not damaged or battle shocked, of course. But you get extra OC. It's kind of a weird rule on that part, but it's really the rest of it. So if you're below starting strength, you get reroll ones. Well, remember that like a lot of pretty much most custodian stuff always hits on 2s, so it's kind of like just getting rerolls all misses almost. And then if you're below half, your reroll hits and rerolls of 1, which is pretty nice. But also remember, as you get below half, some of your bigger stuff starts to get bracketed. So it's really can trade off. Now, venerable dreadnoughts, which is the bread and butter of the detachment, don't bracket because they're at the lower wound points. They're like one of the smaller chassis vehicles, so they don't bracket. So when you do reduce them below half, they are just better, which is super cool.
And I kind of get where they're going with the starting strength, where they lose the, that benefit of the 2 OC. When you think about it, like objective control is supposed to be them, like it's notionalizing them, like doing things on the objective and making it theirs. You know what I mean? So if they get wounded, all of a sudden they're kind of like, oh fuck, no, we gotta like focus on doing that. From a lore perspective, I kind of get where they were going with it.
Yeah. So basically, as they take damage, they trade 2 OC for bonuses to hit and wound, which is really nice. And then, as you can see, the last part of it is really big. Probably the best part about it is that they get +2 to move and 1 to advance and charge rolls for all walkers, which is all your dreadnoughts. It's really good.
Yeah. Adding 1 of the advance and charge rolls. Yeah, that's really, and 2 inches to the move. Yeah, huge. Anytime extra movement comes in, I'm like, boop, done. That's what it, yeah. Well, not anytime.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and then you can take a lot of these enhancements on, as you can see the keywords, you can give 2 walkers character keyword, which means you can take these enhancements on your walkers, which are your telemons. You take 2 telemons, you make them both names, and then you get enhancements on both.
Airman, no, it was just funny the way you worded that. You normally want to shoot to kill, but it might not be bad just to injure, except when it's not. That is GW wording at its finest right there. I just loved it. That's why I was silently laughing to myself because I didn't want to interrupt, but I just thought that was pretty good. But yeah, John, are you taking this in, bro?
Yeah, so this detachment in general, when I think of Custodes, I think of just a ton of Terminators.
Yeah.
I would imagine this
the most different
detachment is
version.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems more like the vehicles.
Yeah.
Utilizing your.
And we, I know I don't. Cody, I'm pretty sure you built. Yeah, I'm 100% you built a list. Not even a question. But I built a list last night at like, I don't know, 3 in the morning when I was laying in bed. and I sent it to you today, and you're like, "Yeah, this is pretty standard." I actually didn't look at anything, like what's been in tournaments until today, like earlier today. I just had a lot going on, so I wasn't able to. I wanted to do a little bit more research on them, but unfortunately, just there was a lot going on this weekend. But
yeah, I mean, they don't have a ton of data sheets, so it's not like you have a ton of options. So, I mean, most lists are going to be some combination of probably 2 units of custodian guards, probably with a blade champion and a shield captain, or 2 blade champions in each of them, something along those lines. This is, like John was saying, this is the one that's really different, especially since these enhancements can go on Telemons. Telemons is a badass unit.
Mm-hmm.
That first enhancement up there makes them or strength 13, damage 4 attacks.
Yeah, I've actually played against, and this was before this came out. This was like, oh man, when was it? It was either early 10th. I think it was early 10th. I played against them, and somebody had basically ran an army just full of their
robots, Telemons.
Yeah, it was ridiculous
Can't
to
say.
deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
They're more balanced now, but they're still really good.
Bloody Cola said, "How competitive is Custodes in this current edition? Are they breaking the 50% win rate?" I don't think that they are. They?
No. So you got to remember there's 2 parts to this. Win rates can be very misleading, and the reason I say that is because Custodes won worlds. Folger Piles won world championships with Custodes. So when you see a win rate, right, you're grouping him with the people who are just kind of going for fun, aren't playing very competitively. The Johns who go 0-5. So Folger Piles is 5-0, and John's 0-5. Wash, as far as win rates go. So I would say that Custodes have a very high skill ceiling, and probably a pretty high skill floor, to be honest, as well. Like, you can't just step into them and expect to win. Your 2-up armor save 4-up invul will only get you so far. And if you don't know how to manipulate cover, you don't know how to use your low model count to your advantage and be really strong with it, you're gonna do a lot of 2 and 3s at tournaments. You're gonna get 2 wins, 3 losses. You might do really well in the mid tables, but you're not gonna be winning tournaments if you're not really strong with the core game mechanics. You're not really strong with how to really use this army. No, I actually don't necessarily agree, because there's a lot of armies, like, and in my opinion, like Necrons, right? Like right now, there's a couple different Necron versions.
I love that you say Necrons because Airman's a Necron player. So
is he?
Yeah, that's so
Sorry.
perfect. Fuck you, Airman, calling me out for my Eldar. Fucking asshole.
Not to sound like insulting or anything, but I don't think that Necrons will ever be below 50% win rate. I think this the fundamental nature of their rule set, the way reanimation works, the way things like that, bad players will still win a lot. Exactly. That's probably the best way to say it, actually. Unless you're playing Star Shatter and you just are too slow to score, that's the only way I can see it. If you're playing any other detachment, like, you can make mistakes and still win games against better players, just because of the nature of the way it works. You get a little lucky on some 4-up invuls on, like, your Doomsday arcs, you're still winning. Same thing with a couple other armies. There's a few armies in the game. I would say, like, vanilla, like Ultramarines right now are kind of that way. That
As they
can,
should be.
They can be very forgiving. Yeah, I actually agree. They're like a Swiss Army knife. They're an army that has they're actually a perfect example of an army that has a low skill floor, but also a very high skill ceiling. And in a weak player's hands, you could still do well with them. Oath is just so good, especially with +1 to wounds. Like, even poor players can still beat stronger players with a little bit of luck with an army like that. But then you have, like, arguably the best player in the world, John Lennon, takes them and then obliterates some of the best players in the world with the same army, because it has such a high skill ceiling as well. So, but then there's a lot of armies, and I think Custodes is one of them, where a weak player can't walk in and just run over a lot of armies with them, and that's why you see their win rates are sometimes very low.
It's the easiest monetarily to get into. One of the easiest.
That's
for
true.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's such an. I mean, you could buy, like, literally one of those big battle boxes, and you could field something for the most part. And then, but yeah, like getting go. I mean, it's easy to understand too. Your footprint is, like, maybe a quarter of the, not even a quarter. Like, I don't know. I don't know geometry very well, so I'm not even gonna. I'm not a fucking botanist. All right.
Yeah, he's not a botanist, you guys. cut him some slack.
But like, it doesn't take up a lot, so that's part of the issue, you know, because there's so much that goes into this game. You know, like for me, like I'm a big. I like having a lot of things because I like being able to screen. I like being able to, you know, have units that can do actions and I can still be functional with having to do actions. Obviously, I'm assuming Custodes, you're probably going to pick fixed most of the time.
I mean, no one's really playing fixed except for like me. So,
well, I mean,
No,
no, actually,
realistically-
you know, like I started thinking about that because I've been paying attention now ever since you and I have had that conversation, and like it's a little bit more. I've seen it a little bit more often than I was anticipating. Like I just never really, I wasn't paying attention because I'm just playing Drukhari. Like, the tactical is just usually so easy for Drukhari that I just didn't really pay attention. But like I've been seeing it a lot more recently now that I've been paying attention, and I can't picture this army doing well with tactical. Right? I mean, there's just no way.
Well, no. So they take a couple sisters units to do those things, and you'd be surprised. And I got the win rate for you as well right here. So as of this past weekend, so today, right, new stats came out, or the updated stats. They are currently sitting at 51.7% win rate.
Okay.
And they did have an event win over the weekends.
I was looking over Meta Monday and seeing that a lot of they're not in a ton right now, but like the ones that they are in, they're like top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, so the Lion detachment. Okay, so they had like a skew player. They had one player do really well with an off detachment, but Shield Host did pretty poorly. Solar Spearhead did poorly, but it was the next attachment that we're going to cover, Lions of the Emperor, that carried it with a 55% win rate on the weekends, and had 37 players. So that's great.
Missy Fomas, I missed it. Is the cat? I don't know how to say this. The Cataphractoi. Cataphractoi. Cataphractoi.
I think you're saying it right the first time. Cataphractoi. Oh, that sounds right.
Part of the Custodes. I don't know. I was just trying to figure out different ways to say it eventually, but I know the historical context, but not the Warhammer one. If it's the historical background, these guys been around a bit. I don't know anything about these guys.
Well, the Cataphractoi, they're actually an AdMech.
What?
Oh, gross.
Yeah,
sick. I hate those.
That's where the Cataphron breachers come from, Snow.
Okay. You know, I saw that
sense.
and I'm like, I just didn't feel like they were related, but that's cool.
Yeah. You're welcome. But yeah, so let's go ahead and hop over to the other detachment, the Lion detachment, because this one is the one that's their best detachment right now, as far as this past weekend goes and up till recently. It won a major event this past weekend, so it did really good. It won the Sao Paulo GT. Also, it won in Brazil. Interesting.
Is
Went
this
5-0.
Is this not a Grotmus? Which one is this?
Yeah, it is a Grotmus, I think. It actually might not necessarily be Grotmus, but it's a new detachment. It's not from the Codex.
Fuck.
It's called Lions of the Emperor on the website.
I am looking, and there it is. Got it.
You found it. Yay.
Because I am smart and figured it out. Yeah, so go ahead.
Okay, so okay. So first off, you can see their detachment rule, right? It's kind of a neat one. It's one where they do better when you're spread out. You get +1 to hit and +1 to wound. Now, mind you, +1 to hit doesn't mean a lot because they already hit on 2s. It only matters against things that have mods, but +1 to wound's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then don't forget, they still get access to sustained and lethals. And now with +1 to wound, sustained is always better. You never go lethals.
Yep.
So you just always go sustained, and you just run into them one-on-one and just.
This
do
is
work.
actually the one that I built. This is the detachment that I used when I was reading through everything last night.
Okay. Yeah. So this one's super good. So it's just a bunch of different buffs. It's designed about your units kind of being, like I said, spread out. You're not really supporting each other. They are just dominating their sections of the table by themselves. You're winning the battle on all fronts kind of idea. You have some neat little gimmicks, right? You have like when you have like a lone model, you can give him lone op and stealth. It's kind of cool. But really, it's some of the strats that really make the army really cool. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
All right. So the upper right one, Unleash the Lions. This is the craziest strat in the game, in my opinion. It's really cool. I love it. It's also can break the game at some points. So in your command phase, one custodian unit or a Laris unit, right? So that's the Laris are the Terminators, and then you have like the other custodians that are on the battlefield. You can separate them into individual units containing one model each. And now their new starting strength is 1. So in practice, what this means is that you take a 6-man custodian Terminator unit, a Laris custodian unit. You can take them up to 2 to 6. You take a 6-man Terminator unit, and you split them into 6 individual 1-man squads.
Are you kidding me? Like, split this unit, each containing 1 model. You know what's funny is I actually, when I was reading through this last night, it was 3 a.m. I just saw split into separate units and just was like, okay, so I could just split it into like I thought this was conventional what's that called? Combat squatting. Like this I have done it again where I didn't read the entire thing. I'm so dumb.
Illiteracy wins again.
Hell yeah. And real quick, Bloody Cola asked if the math is better. Is the math better to plus to hit or plus to wound if they hit and wound on a 4? If they hit and wound on a 4,
then it's functionally the same, plus to hit and plus to wounds. So like when you're the same across both, it's functionally the same. Technically, technically it's always the same. If you have the choice for plus to hit or plus to wound, it's always the same. The way that it works, unless you're already wounding something on 2s or hitting on something on 2s. That's the only time it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, that would probably depend on the profile. If you have some crazy rules for wounding or some crazy rules for hitting or something, I don't know.
They got rid of like the 6+ rules, right? Like if you roll over a 6 to wound, that does stuff. Like they got rid of all those rules, so plus to hit and plus to wound are functionally the same, so long as you're not already doing one of them on 2s. But this attachment gives you both, by the way. So you get plus to hit and wounds. You don't pick. You just get both.
And just want to say, hey, Vicious, what's up? And Arby said, turned your squad into a kill team. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, sure does.
That's wild. And you can do that. You can do that once a turn. Oh, you're only going to have 2 of those units probably.
You'd be surprised. I mean, yeah, probably. But realistically, if I were to build a list around that, I would literally only play 1. I would play 1 6-man unit, split it. I don't want to dump CP into doing it 3 turns in a row. I don't see the value in that. I would do it 1 time. I think the other strats, like the Gilded Champion, is super dope. That's awesome, giving you a second use of a once per battle ability.
That's that's where I was. That was like obviously the first one there, so it was the first one I looked at. I was like, what? Once per battle, you can do it again? Oh my god!
Really good. And then, scroll down a little bit.
This is dupe.
You get the fallback and charge, of course. That's okay. That's just good. Like I said, it works functionally like fights first. But yeah, I mean, just some neat little stuff. You get I think it's the reactive move, if I remember right. Yeah, you got a reactive move, which is really nice.
That's where I was at. So the reactive move, and I know you were telling me that what's the name of the unit that I put in there that you said was kind of off meta?
Oh, the Vigilators?
Yeah, the Vigilators. So they have fights first. So like in my brain, I was thinking I would run them in tandem with my like I don't know my guard or something like that, or my wardens or I don't know whatever. Like they basically just are up one of those units asshole the entire time, and whenever the guardian or whatever custode unit I have gets shot, they move back. You know, if there's a unit that's close to them that's getting ready to charge or something like that. Move back, and then they got to deal with fights first and dev wounds that are, I think they're 2 damage apiece.
Yeah.
With like 4 attacks apiece, and it's like a 10-man unit, so it's actually a ton.
Yeah, they're not bad. Those are the ones with the big sword, right? Yeah, they're not bad.
Sure.
And then you still have like the fight on death. That's pretty decent.
It's a 4+ though.
It's a 2-up if they have a character in the unit.
Oh yeah.
That's better.
Well, technically the model has a 2-up because it's on model by model basis. I think it says. Yeah,
it's a model by model basis.
I like that.
Still, it allows your character to fight on death,
Hey,
which is really important.
Sorry, hold on.
Everybody's talking.
No, you're good.
Everybody's talking about how aesthetic the Custodes are with their gold armor.
Yeah,
gold on gold.
Gotta love a bunch of dudes going war glam to the 9s, especially since every character in the decks has a once per battle. But yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and people made fun of me for wearing white on white tux. You know what I'm saying? Like they just have no taste. They would never make it as a custode.
You wore a white on white tux?
No, I've never worn that. I want to, but everybody told me it looks dumb and tacky, so I didn't because I'm very malleable.
Was it after?
I had to wear it to a wedding.
Was it after?
See, isn't that a good look though?
It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also had a broken foot at the time, so I had an all white tux, and then I had a black boot.
You can't go by me. I wear like graphic tees pretty much 90% of the time because I'm a child.
To weddings, exclusively.
And this one I have on is Ninja Turtles, right? Yeah, weddings exclusively. No,
weddings exclusively.
You got to wear the t-shirt tux for the weddings, dude. Still technically a graphic tee.
T-shirt tux. I love it.
But yeah, actually, and because of these, in particular, the movement one, the react movement, and the once per battle stratagem, that's kind of what sold me on it. I didn't even realize Unleash the Lions.
It's really good. Yeah, dude, it's a cool one. I don't really actually know. A lot of people are playing this and not even using that strat, just because the rest of it's so good. But yeah, I mean, it's a really cool detachment. I think it's really good. It's probably, in my opinion, their best detachment. But I think you're gonna see Shield Host the most because it's like very easy to play. You have a one battle round thing. Oh, and I forgot, you do have the precision for your whole unit, which is kind of cool. But
yeah.
I don't really know how much you need that, but
get in contact.
Especially,
with Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's not like super great because if you run Blade Champions, Blade Champions have a profile that has a precision, which we'll get to in a second. I think that's the data sheet we should go look at in a second. But so this strat's like okay. I can't imagine when you're really gonna need like a bunch of models attacks to go into one character. But I think they're a blender naturally anyway, most of the time.
I may have possibly
perhaps maybe
gotten rid of the codex.
Indubitably.
Well, hold on. So in my defense, I am
mentally moved.
I am not the smartest person that I know. You know what I'm saying? So not that that's really a good defense, I guess. But John, what are you taking from all this, brother?
Okay, so originally my thought was, I haven't played Custode. I've never played Custodes. With Tau, I have a lot of anti-elite. My thought process is utilize the anti-elite, but with that detachment you showed me, like an all-comers list, what would you bring to be able to deal with Custodes in particular? May not have phrased that correctly.
No, it's okay. So if I'm building a list right now and I know that Custodes are being brought more and more. In fact, I think this actually I can tell you, this past weekend there was a total of just shy of 700 players that played, and 50 of them were Custodes. So they are a pretty well represented faction right now in the game for sure. 47 players on the weekend out of 680. Like that's actually a considerable group size, one of the most on the weekend. In fact, it's the second most on the weekend, it looks like. Yeah, they are. They're the second most played faction on the weekend. So you have to consider the fact that like you're going to see them. Now, unless you're playing Solar Spearhead, you should include damage 3 weapons in your army.
Okay.
Damage 3 weapons is really going to be the bread and butter for picking up Custodes, because most of their models have 3 wounds. So you just need them to fail their 1 2-up save and then losing a whole custodian. And most custodians, I think, are around like 50 points a model. So every time you get one through, they feel it.
Yeah.
So if you don't have damage 3 weapons in your army of some level, and when I say damage 3, they don't have to be specific damage 3. They can be D6+1, stuff like that. Things that can do 3 damage in a single wound. If you're not running those, you're going to struggle into this army. You need to have a huge volume of damage 2 or even more damage 1 to cover the gap there, and then it's going to feel miserable if you don't. So damage 2 feels terrible into them, I can promise you.
Yeah, I actually revamped my list recently. I brought the damage 2 missiles for I think it's the Fire Knife team.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, the damage 2 just does not feel good shooting into Terminators.
No,
even
of
if it's
course not.
AP -2, it's still like, you still leave them with a wound. And I'm just like, oh.
And well, you're getting ignore cover, right? Most of the game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so at least you are putting them on their invul, but yeah, it sucks to leave them on 1 wound. Riptides can be 3 damage, no?
Riptides can be 3 and 4.
Yeah, they can overcharge for 4, right?
Yep. I actually removed a lot of the infantry, brought in a Riptide, Ghost Kill, and then the plasma suits, the 3 damage ones, because they ignore hit modifiers and they get rerolls, full rerolls on unwounded targets and rerolls of 1 on everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in the game. Like, I'll do a little shout out to my buddy. Armies that spam Dark Lances. I mean, they're going to be really good into Custodes, right? Because they're always AP3. So even if they're in cover, they're putting them on the invul. They fail 1 4-up. You're losing a whole model no matter what I roll, right? So it's going to be like Dark Lance spam armies is really nice. Especially, I think Drukhari are actually honestly a really good army into them right now, because your Ravager is so fast, it can always find the angle. As long as you can see 1 model, if you roll well, you might pick up 2 Custodes out of a squad from 1 shot, and then you're like almost made up the cost of your whole Ravager in 1 shot. And if you happen to live because he can't reach you or whatever because you're shooting from far away, like it's really good. I mean, I think fast high damage armies are actually probably the best armies to play into Custodes as of right now, because slow low damage armies that are durable don't do well into them. Derth Gerd are counter matched up into them.
And we know that your buddy that you're referring to is me, because I bring Drukhari and I lance spam the shit out of that army. No, I'm just kidding.
He wasn't even thinking about you. He was thinking about another buddy.
I feel like Admech has got to be pretty decent to them, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the breachers are damage 3.
Breachers
are great into them. The problem with breachers, though, is that you like you already mentioned, is that you want to keep them back until you can see them, but you need to hit them multiple times before they reach you, because once Custodes reach you as Admech, you lose your army.
Yeah.
Nothing in your army survives being charged by Custodes, so you need to find a way to shoot them before they get there, or you need to do so much damage with that breacher squad that you wipe the squad, and then you're able to like kind of like back up and shoot the next one before it gets to you. Because even one, like if a Blade Champion is the last model left in the squad and then touches your breachers, he's going to pick up your whole breacher squad. It's that bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Trajan Valoris right now. Like 6 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 10, AP -2, 3 damage. Yeah, it's gross. Super gross.
Not a good time.
Oh, and this model, hold on.
Once
per battle at the start of the fight phase, you can select one of the following to take effect until the end of the phase. This model's Watcher's Axe, which is the profile I just referenced, has an attacks characteristic of 12. It's so dumb, dude.
There goes
Actually,
the breachers.
I was
See you
gonna
later,
put
dudes.
I was gonna put him in my list that I wrote last night, but there's like honestly when I started like looking at everything, I was like, I just can't put Trajan in here. Like I can't justify putting him in here. He's really good. He's really good, but he is just a really big beat stick. Like he doesn't seem like he gives really anything other than that 12 attacks. And ignoring modifiers, but I mean, shit, they hit on 2s. I'm used to hitting on 3s, so it's like, okay. I mean, and you pretty much get rid of your misses with sustained anyway, so it is what, like, whatever.
Yeah, just if do you have data sheets up?
Yep.
Can you throw up the Blade Champion? I think he might be my favorite data sheet in the whole codex.
Blade Champ. Yeah,
There it
reroll
is.
Spitting
charge
image
rolls.
of me.
Yeah, maybe the hair.
Yes,
you-
he gives
hear
a
me?
lot of really, really important things for the units that he leads. And they synergize. And his once per battle one, especially in this new detachment where you can use it a second time, is so good. It's an advance and charge. And you already get reroll charge. So you basically get advance and then reroll charge for his squad. So they can cover a ton of ground. And then his damage output is no joke. Like, look how many attacks he's got. Remember, he's going to have sustained with all these.
Oh,
He
and
has
they're devastating. Good lord.
Well, one of them is devastating.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah,
3
yeah.
damage dev, but then he's got a more attacks, 2 damage precision if he wants to take your character out. And then he has the infantry blender, which comes with sustained naturally. So you could go lethals and then have both sustained and lethals. This guy is really also really good in shield host, because when you have the once per game 5-up to crit, you could like go lethals and sustained on 5s with his Hyrcaneus or whatever it's called. I mean, it's really good model. Now,
Hold on. RB
you're fine.
a minute ago, this was back when we were referring to the 2 damage going into the Terminators. Sorry, RB, I meant to actually get this a second ago, but I realized that I'm a big dum-dum and forgot to save the codex here. But said means you need to double tap them all, which sucks up your attacks, I guess. Yeah, so if I feel like, and not to get too far off topic, but John, your army has so much damage too that I don't feel like it's terrible against.
No, mine's all damage 3.
Oh, a lot of what I was dealing with previously was damage 2 and 3, but there was a lot. I felt like there was a lot of damage too.
Yeah, that's their missile drones. They all have missile drones that are -1, strength 7, damage 2, but that's not their primary. Those are just drones. But that's like an
Just
additional.
drones.
That's just to
Damage
bring more
2,
damage.
just drones.
Yeah, just the drones. But the Bane weapons are all damage 3 now.
Cola said, yeah, you bleed 1 damage per Terminators when throwing 3s at them. I find myself running a lot of 3+ damage weapons and 1 damage. Where are you getting 3+ damage weapons in the frickin' CSM Codex? Because there's not a lot there, at least I didn't see.
Well, Forge Fiends are straight 3.
Okay.
And they're -3.
Besides Forge Fiends, I just don't see a lot of like some of the other, like, I don't know. I move towards, for some reason I favor infantry more than I favor vehicles. I feel like vehicles you can kind of, you can get a lucky shot off on a vehicle and just pop it and it's gone. You know what I mean? Versus it's a lot harder to get rid of the infantry.
Yeah. Bloody Cola said he feels the same way about Abaddon.
Yeah,
when
just
you were
being a big
talking
beat
about
stick. Yeah.
Yeah. Abaddon's pricey too.
But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Yeah, basically, I just think that he is like the bread and butter of the army right now. The reroll charge and the once per game advance and charge allows you to get your important units into where they want to be, which is in melee. The shield captain is not bad as well. There's some cool synergy with him if you want to look at his data sheet really quick. He's got a lot more weapon options.
You want him in Alaris Terminator armor? That's the same, isn't it?
Well, he has different abilities, if I remember right, but most people don't play him in that. They're playing the regular shield captain with regular guard, or with wardens, depending on which units you take. So people will take guard and wardens, and sometimes take one or the other only. But yeah, so he gets the his once per battle ability is pretty dope if you look at it. Once when he's selected, if he does until that fight is resolved, both katas are activated for him, for his unit, which means he gets both sustained and lethals once per battle. And then once per battle round, you get a free CP, which has the captain ability, rights of battle, essentially. Super good. And then he just is just extra attacks over a regular custodian, right? If you run the Guardian Spear, you'll see that he's going to basically have the same profile, just 2 extra attacks over the rest of them. So now, if you wouldn't mind going to hop to the Custodian Guard and Custodian Wardens datasheets, because those are your main units in the book.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I fucked something up.
no.
Can you scroll down a little bit?
I was trying to find this quickly, but it's not
You
working.
found it slower. Just scroll down. It's like the next data sheet after them.
I was like, let me be smart
right there.
and do the
Okay.
old Control F trick. You know what I mean? That didn't work at all.
Okay, so go up to the one above this one, actually, and start on the Guard, because the Guard is like the traditional unit. The Wardens is like a specialized version of this. All right, so you have the Custodian Guard. Now, Guard and Wardens, you can either run a 4-man squad or a 5-man squad. There is advantages to both, technically, but usually you're going to see a lot of 5-mans unless you're shy on points. Most players are running them with the Guardian Spear. The weakness of the Guardian Spear, you get 2 extra damage and an extra strength, right? So it's better than the sword, but the sword allows you to take the shield, which gives you an extra wound. So what you'll see, most common variation is you'll run 4 Custodian Guard that have spears, 1 Custodian Guard that has the shield and sword with the banner, which gives +1 OC, if I remember right.
Yeah, the Vexilla, the Hia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that makes 5 Custodian Guard 15 OC. Pretty solid, actually. The Custodian Guard's ability is really solid, especially when they're led by a Blade Champion or even Shield Captain. But reroll 1s to wounds always, and that's in shooting as well if you look. It's not just melee attacks, it's all attacks. And if this unit is in range of an objective marker that they control, you get reroll wounds.
So I actually made an argument to take spears.
Most people do. Most people take 4 spears and then 1 sword.
Right. I'm sorry, man. Natty said
You gotta bring attention to that.
Natty said she could take 2 custodes, which I know what that means. Freaking ridiculous.
Everyone responded in a fight, right? And everybody's like, right?
Hey, Clover, what's
Smiling
up?
face.
Yeah,
Yikes.
we're gonna be getting the cat spray bottle pretty soon.
Yeah, I actually got one, and it's labeled.
It's labeled for Natty specifically. It says
No, it's labeled for everyone.
the baddie Natty spray.
No, it's the bad chat spray.
But anyway, yeah. So
Also, hold 1 second. Everyone was like saying each other's name, and then Scartha said Scartha because no one was saying their names, so they just threw their name in there. It was pretty good. I'm sorry. As someone who's alone chronically, I found that very entertaining. Thank you, Scartha. You've made my day.
That is funny. Yeah, we're moving on to Wardens, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Cody. It's No,
you're good.
It is popping.
So Wardens are very similar to regular guard, but they're more defensive. They're the defensive ones, which is interesting because they don't have access to shields, which is good because if they had access to shields, they'd be broken as fuck, in my opinion, if you gave them extra wounds. But they are -1 to wound if it's over their toughness, which is really, really, really important when you're shooting them with high strength, high damage weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And then once per battle at the start of a phase, they can give themselves a 4 feel no pain, just period. If they get caught in the open, or they know they're going to take a bunch of damage this phase because it's the only target you've lined up on, they're going to give themselves a 4 of Feel No Pain, and they're going to be way more durable than you're expecting.
Yeah, I definitely have 2 squads of these on my list.
Yep, they're good.
That
They're
4 of
good.
Feel No Pain is disgusting.
Yeah, your list where you had 2 guard units and 2 warden units, that's actually pretty common. That's pretty standard.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Haha. I have.
And your 2 Caladiuses, which we can look at next, also is very standard.
Well, yeah, looking through all the data sheets, I was like, I need some shooty like things that can fuck shit up from a distance, and that's pretty much the only thing I saw that was within a reasonable point value.
Mm-hmm. If you want to stop on these right here, we can stop there. That's the termies.
I actually had these guys in my list originally. They seem like they're really good, but I'm like, man, that salvo launcher is just 1 shot a piece. It's just, and I was looking at
the bikes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just want to say this: the bikes. This is actually the codex, actual codex release. The bikes got a data slate update, so this is not actually their real data slate. So they actually are much better than this. They got an extra toughness and an extra wound.
Oh yeah. You're right. I was looking through the app.
They're
on this.
T7-5 wounds now.
Yeah. That was actually
they were not used at all before. Now they're much better.
I was looking at it and I'm like, why the fuck? Because I remember somebody telling me that the bikes just aren't good anymore, and I'm like, how are they saying this? I like, what? Other than the fact that the ranged weapons are kind of poopy.
Meh. Yeah.
But yeah, being able to, each time this unit advances, do not make an advance roll a 6 or add 6 to the move. Once per battle, after this unit ends an advance move, you can select an enemy unit that it moved over. And on a 2+, it suffers 2 mortal wounds. Yeah, that's actually really good too. I mean, 12 inches is, I don't think they have a stratagem that allows them to advance and charge. No, they don't. Unfortunately.
Not that I can think of. But
we're going
so
to
wait, we need to stop on this guy on the Venerable Dreadnought.
While we do that, everyone in chat is saying, "Fuck you, John. This John guy must be pretty cool."
Yeah, fuck yeah,
and attractive.
I just look over and it's like, but John, shut up and go do missionary only. Yeah, fuck John.
They're saying, I mean, that's like a nice thing, right? They're all telling me how cool I am. I'm sure.
What's the shooting thing you were talking about, Kyle? Melee and noise is the way to go. I'm right there with you, dude. I would never play. Not that I have an issue with Custodes, it's just not my style. I
play Custodes because I kind of relate to them on like a physical level. Because I'm built like a Custode. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're built like something. I don't know if a Custode is.
Yeah, more like
built like a
custodian.
Yeah, I'm about to make a joke.
Like a janitor.
Like a high school custodian. A master of the custodial arts, if you will.
Yeah. I was going to make a Warhammer joke. I was going to say I'm built more like a... Oh, gosh. Votan. You know?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah?
Yeah? That was a Warhammer joke. Zing. More like a Sister of Silence. Get out of here, Scarpan! Get out of here. Nobody's allowed in chat. Everyone's getting kicked.
I wish he sounded like a Sister of Silence.
Right?
Yeah, that's definitely not.
Give us your best Sister of Silence voice, John.
Hold on 1 second.
No, you already messed it up.
I am a Sister of Silence.
Do you not get that the point of a Sister of Silence is they don't talk?
Oh, fuck.
What just happened?
Damn, I didn't even think about that. The implications are crazy.
I love the fact that you looked around like you didn't want you don't want your family to hear you like talking like a girl.
What just happened?
No one's gonna hear me.
Oh my god, that is so funny.
What just happened?
All right, I'm gonna practice being a Sister of Silence starting now.
Starting now. All right, Cody. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's fly through these last couple of data sheets.
Yeah,
all right. So the Venerable Dreadnought, you're going to see at least 2 of these in the Solar Spearhead, sometimes more. I played a game against Solar Spearhead in the team tournament. I played against 4 of them. They're really good. They have an okay guns, and then they have the melee weapon. The melee weapon's just super solid, to which they have a really cool ability that when they die on a 2-up, they stand back up with D6 wounds remaining. Remember that they don't bracket, and whenever they're below starting strength, they get reroll ones to hit, which they hit on 2, so it's basically 4 rerolls. And when they're below half, they're reroll failed wounds, or reroll ones to wounds. So they are really, really, really good, right, in that detachment. I would not play them if you're not playing that detachment, though. Okay, next.
They get +1 to wound as well, right? Is it right? Or was
No, that's a different detachment.
Okay.
So the Dreadnought detachment is if you're below starting strength, you get reroll ones to hit, and below half reroll ones to wounds, which is really synergizes really well with their ability to stand up on death.
Yep. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, you're good. And then if you can go to the Caladius.
But the Vigilators.
All these sisters are just going to be mostly used for action monkeys, honestly.
So
the Caladius.
Yeah, I was about to say
Imperial armor. It's Imperial armor.
Yeah.
And so is the Telemon. Yeah.
I was just about to say I'm pretty sure it's not in here because they didn't have a picture of it on the app. But we could stop off at the Vigilators.
I personally love vigilating. That's like one of my all-time activities.
Is the most. I wish you would go back to being a Sister of Silence.
Nope. That meme is past.
Yo.
Oh my god, that's too funny. Yeah, so these are the Vigilators. Yep.
RB, I actually kind of agree, to be honest. I think the stand up on death rules are super obnoxious. It's actually better than extra wounds, to be honest, as well, because they stand up at the end of the phase.
Yeah.
Which is just worse. Like I hate playing against stuff that can stand back up because they get to activate again against you, even though you've gone out of the way to fully kill them. They get to stand back up and get a whole another activation.
I think I already said why I put the Vigilators in mind, but this is the unit. I think I have 2 10-man units. Like 2 attacks apiece. They hit on 3, strength 5, AP -2, 2 damage. But the devastating wounds and the fights first. Where's the fights first? Did I? Oh, I gave him a character. I think that gives them fights first.
Valea, yeah. Valea, I think, or whatever her name is. I think
Valerian.
Maybe. By the way, Natty, that wasn't very nice. I actually don't even know if that's an insult or a compliment, to be honest.
I don't know. That's a very backhanded compliment.
Steven Crowder's twin that doesn't beat his. Oh my god, way. Chat is so brutal. I love it. So they essentially hide for the rest of the phase, so you can't shoot anything else at them, and they come back afterwards. Yeah, pretty much. They disappear and they come back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awful.
Yep, it's super lame.
Is it Valerian or Alea? Maybe Alea.
While
this model's leading a unit, models in that unit have the fights first ability. Yep, and they scout.
Yeah, I think most people, what they do right now is they just take I believe it is I have the codex. I think it's is it the prosecutors? No, witch seekers. I know a lot of people just run like 2 4-man squads of witch seekers.
I was going to have the field in your shooting phase after the shooting is shot, select one unit hit by one or more of those attacks, and then must take a battle shock test. I mean, that's cool, and it's the flamers. I think is. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, really the reason you take them is because it's super cheap. It's the cheapest model in the book, and their ability is actually still can be useful. By making someone take a battle shock test, it could actually swing a fight phase. It could be pretty impactful, actually. It also could give your custodians, when they go onto the objective, control of the objective when they otherwise might not have control, and then they would get the reroll wounds and stuff. Like it has play outside of just being action monkeys. So I think that's why most people play like 2 squads of 4 of them.
Yeah. And I don't think I can. Well, I'm sure I could pull it up, but I don't know where to find them. The other 2. I mean, you could just go over it.
Oh yeah.
I can pull up the info on my phone, not on screen, but.
Yeah, I have it. Basically, the Caladius is actually I remember most of it from heart, to be honest. But the Caladius is just pretty nasty. It's like a super tank, right? It's got like 13 wounds. It has a 2-up armor save and a 5-up invul. And its gun is just insane. It's a twin-linked weapon, so which means it gets a reroll of wounds. It gets lethals versus monsters and vehicles. It's 4 shots. That is, I don't want to misquote this part, I believe, strength 12 minus 3, d6 plus 2 each. If I remember right.
I could tell you right now.
Yep, I was right. 12, 3, d6 plus 2. And remember, they hit on 2s. And if you play them in that detachment, and for some reason someone foolishly took a wound off of you, you are reroll 1s.
Yeah, these are basically better. These are better Dark Lances.
Yeah.
They're longer. They have a better range. They hit better. They have the same strength, same AP, same damage profile, but they're also twin-linked.
And it's 4 shots. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are just good. And then they get lethals versus monsters and vehicles, which is just free.
Yeah. Yep. Natty asked a good question. She said, jokes aside, actual question, how do you decide which units do good in what area? Like, obviously, if a unit only has a pistol, it's not going to be particularly good at shooting, but how do you differ other units? So, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
If I understand the question properly, I guess is Natty asking when you're list building, which units you should be taking, I guess, in the justification for taking those units?
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so you have 2 ways you can, in my opinion, there's 2 main ways to list build right now. You can either list build as an all-comer, so you're going to take stuff in your list that should, in theory, be able to kill the stuff that you should expect to see in most other people's lists, or do what I personally like to do, which is to intentionally take things that my opponent doesn't have enough to handle. For example, right? If I take all greater demons, right? My opponent probably is going to take some heavy weapons to deal with some big things, because most people have some big things. But if I take only big things, you won't have enough of them to kill me. So there's 2 ways to really list build. Now, when you're list building the traditional way, which is to build all comers list, right? Like if you know that there's a lot of custodians in the meta right now, you should be looking for things in your particular army that have 3 damage. Like that's the main breakpoint you should be looking for. 3 damage weapons or better, right? So you look for those, and then depending on the range, you use them in what ways you can, or 3 damage melee weapons. If you know that there's a lot of Tyranids in the meta and they're playing a lot of big monsters, right? You want a lot of high AP, high damage, unless it's the Maliceptors who have a 4-up invul. Then you just want just high damage, like las cannons, dark lances, meltaguns, stuff like that. Do really well into those things.
Yeah,
if people are playing Green Tide, then you should be playing lots of 1 damage weapons, flamers.
And you can also do like Cody, I think you do the same thing, kind of similar to what I think I do. You just do it way better, which is, like you said, just kind of bringing like off meta stuff. I love bringing things that people aren't prepared for. You know, like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? Like, how am I going to deal with this? You know, like that's not what my list was built for, which is kind of what you're saying. But, you know, there's like when I played against your, what was that freaking oh my god,
Words,
the Rodigus and I can't think of the name of the damn
like Plague Leech detachment.
Yeah.
You talking about the
Nurgle army.
Yeah, Grand ones.
It doesn't do a whole lot of direct damage. It just makes you fail all of your fucking leaderships.
Battle shock.
Battle shock.
You bleed mortals.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything but sit there and exist, and I kill myself. Like that's the type of crazy.
You can't
shit.
score. I slowly score. You can't kill me. I don't kill you, but you slowly die anyway.
Right, and you just keep coming back because you keep passing your own. Yeah, it was very frustrating.
Yeah, my list right now, which I'm really happy with where it's at, is super, super skew and super crazy for people to deal with. I think it's super obnoxious. I can't wait to pilot it at this singles event. It's gross. It's pretty gross.
What army is it?
So it's Shadow Legion. It's demons.
Oh, okay.
Shadow Legion. Yeah, I'm running 3 Great Unclean Ones, Balakor, a Bloodthirster, a Lord of Change, and then 2 Havoc Squads with Last Cannons, and that's my whole army.
Yeah, I know you like those
Oh.
real small, like big wound count lists. By the way, hold on a second. What is going on in chat right now?
Natty has an actual serious question. Just
that
scroll
does-
through all the ass hair comments.
Yeah. That does answer one part of my question, but I guess I'm stuck on, like, for example, let's say you don't know what the meta is. You're just making a list that is going to be decent enough at everything, like an Ultramarine list. How do you decide on that roster of units, which ones to take? So all right. I'm gonna try to answer this one for me personally, and this is the way that I used to build lists a long time ago, where I would take like the basic Space Marine list, because back in the day, it's not so much now, but if you could reliably kill a Space Marine army, you could kind of deal with most things. There's a couple there's some more. I mean, you've got different builds now where you've got things like what Cody's talking about. You don't really see a ton of that, but like basically what I try to do is have a decent amount of anti-tank, a decent amount of anti-elite, which is like damage 3, and a decent amount, if possible, some anti-chaff. Like that's kind of like the basics that I use when I like think about building a list. What was the Cody? What was the face for?
What Bloody Cola just said in chat.
Oh, I missed it. I've seen Kyle and John braid into each other before.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Oh, like on Avatar? Like an inverted human centipede. Good Lord, dude. Oh my God. So inverted human centipede.
That's gross.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, I think that just a quick little thing, Natty, if you're list building right now, especially with Ultramarines, the important wound breakpoints is 2 damage, 3 damage, and then as high as possible. If you bring a little bit of those damage points, you should be able to have kind of a Swiss Army knife to plan to anything. Damage 2 will pick up all Space Marine chapters, non-Terminator models or non-elite models. Most all elite models have 3 wounds, except for the few circumstances where they have 4. But fortunately, 2 damage is still okay into 4 wounds. And then the big stuff, you're going to want D6 plus 1 type weapons. So those 3 damage points, if you can check those off on your list building list, and you have all 3 of those, perfect. Any other damage weapons that your vehicles or monster models come with as well is just extra.
Yeah, that was a much better way of putting what I was trying to get at. The chaff is probably where I made it confusing. Anti-tank also, because I didn't specify. There's a lot of D6 plus, like D6 plus 2 is great. AP minus 3. You're also going to need to pay attention to the AP on some of this stuff.
Yeah. AP2 is the sweet spot, by the way. Just fundamentally across the whole game, AP2 is the sweet spot. In shooting, you want AP2 with ignores cover or AP3. Melee, AP2 is a sweet spot. Puts most things on their invul.
And in this game right now, you can pretty much just consider everything at minus 1 AP, because everything gets cover almost everywhere. Yeah. I don't know what's going on in here.
I'll have to say this for my buddy, but when you have an army of only flamers, AP doesn't matter.
Man, I played against... Did I tell you about the Salamanders army I played against at the last tournament I went to?
No, but my buddy who keeps messaging me plays that exact list. So,
yeah, they took down a full... I didn't realize like how many flamers were actually... He kept...
Yeah.
So, all right, and here's something else to consider too, by the way. When somebody tells you that their list is not that good and they're terrified to play against your list, don't listen to that.
Yeah.
Actually pay attention to what they have, because I can't tell you how many times like I'll roll up with my Drukari and they're like, oh my god, this is gonna be a terrible fight, and then come to find out when like I'm just kind of not super because it doesn't really matter. It's just an RTT. I don't really care. I'm just learning and having fun, and then all of a sudden I get like 40 salamanders all with fucking flamers with +1 to wound and like AP2 pile out of these vehicles, and they start taking down my fucking my plane. What's it called? The
Void Raven?
The Void Raven. Like, dude, these things just took down my Void Ravens instantly. I'm like, holy fuck, what just happened? Like, god damn. Yeah, it was deserved it. You know what, Aramon? Ban him.
Ban him. I banned him once before by accident. I'll do it again.
By accident.
Yeah, by accident.
We should definitely really quickly jump into the Derth Gerd and World Eaters.
Yeah. That was
sure.
actually I was gonna say that. Actually, I said it, but I said it first. It's whatever.
There's some really, really juicy shit in here. I can't wait to talk about the Derth Gerd Shamble Rot.
Yeah. So this is Derth Gerd, Skull Squirm Blight, which is hard to say. Skull Squirm Blight, Skull Squirm Blight, Skull Squirm Bite. All right, it's not that bad.
Just say -1 to hit. Okay, gotcha.
-1.
-1 to hit blight.
I was just trying to see how many times. I want to see. Whatever, dude. Worse than Rattle Joint. Ague.
Oh god.
Worse than the save characteristic. Worse than. All right, -1 to save. Scabrous Soul Rot, worse than the move, leadership, and objective control value.
Got a huge buff.
Control characters and models in this unit by 1. Yeah, the other one was totally worthless. This one is way better.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm gonna go over to this screen while I'm doing that, so I don't give everybody a seizure. Dude. The frickin'
it was announced. It wasn't RB. It was announced. It wasn't technically like really anything released. But
Sure, it's already leaked or will be leaked in a day.
yeah, basically, they showed a reveal of a new model that's basically like a Canis Rex, non-named model that has like a similar gun on the same chassis.
Does a pilot hop out?
No, thank God. That is. By the way, RB, that rule is way worse than stand back up. That is the lamest rule in the game, Sir Hector. I hate that model so much. He should be removed from the game.
Virulent Vectorium. If you control an objective marker at the end of your command phase, okay, so this gives you sticky, and it has the Nurgle's Gift ability that you chose, just to make that fast.
That's the old index ability.
Shamble Rot Vectorium. We're gonna just move on to the next one. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. In your command phase, in each of the following battle rounds, depending on your chosen battle side, add a new Poxwalkers unit with a starting strike of 10 to your army in strategic reserves. 2, 3, and 4. That happens on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th battle round. That is really good.
Right now, they're priced at about, the rumors are about 60 points for 10. So you're getting basically 180 points of free Poxwalkers to the game. And the way this is worded, it would seem that it violates the rule of 3 as well, because they're added after the game starts, so you don't have to worry about the list building restrictions. But I'm going to go really fast through this, so we don't waste too much time on this. But so Poxwalkers got a little bit of a glow up. They got +1 move, and they can infiltrate. Poxwalkers are simply just a T4 model that have 1 wound. They have a 7-up armor save, and they have a 5-up Field of Pain. They do nothing else. They have 2 attacks that hit on 5s, but they have lethals with AP0, 1 damage. They're not very good on their own, but they have some cool combos, and they're really annoying because they're Field of Pains. They also have their special rules that if they kill a model, they get a dead Poxwalker back.
Did they keep their OC?
Yeah, they still have 1 OC, which is very important. We'll get to that in a second. So what they gained as well is that Blightbringers and Plague Casters can now attach to Poxwalkers. They didn't used to be able to. The only model that used to be able to attach to Poxwalkers was Typhus. Now, Blightbringers and playcasters can also. One of them, the Blightbringer, has 2 abilities. He's the better one in my opinion, but they're both good. The Blightbringer gives them +1 to move and reroll charges. Really good. So now they're a 6-inch movement with reroll charge. He also has like a battle shock aura that forces things below starting strength to battle shock. The Plague Caster gives him sustained 1 and then has an ability that he lowers movement when he shoots them. If you look at these enhancements,
This is gonna be so annoying to deal with, man.
yes, you take 20 Poxwalkers and you can put both characters into the same squad. Then you take this enhancement called Lord of the Walking Pox. If the bear is leading a Poxwalker unit and is in strategic reserves, it can be, when it's set up from reserve, it treats the current battle round as battle round 3. This means that if you go second, you could rapid ingress 20 Poxwalkers with 2 characters on turn 1. And then you move 6 inches with reroll charge. And there's a strat that lets you go an extra inch and gets you an extra attack. So 20 Poxwalkers with that strat would go 7 inches with a reroll charge, and then would hit you with like 60 attacks that was sustained and lethals.
Yeah, I mean, there's no AP or anything, but
no, it's just volume, and it's super sticky and annoying. And there's another enhancement that you take that makes them T5. It's the last enhancement on the
I was
page.
more thinking about it like it's just waves of Poxwalkers. Like you can't get past them. You know, like they're just.
So the hilarious thing about this is that if you take the -1 to move, and leadership and OC, you get into their backline with that. You move them all to a crawl. So like, okay, Death Shroud are like 5 inches of movement. If you have Death Shroud in your backfield, yeah, you'll pick up a whole bunch of Poxwalkers. I don't care. But as long as I shot you with the Plague Caster, the Plague Caster's ability says if you shoot an infantry unit, -2 to their move. Now that would stack with the aura, the afflicted aura. So it's -3 to their move. So your 5-inch movement now becomes 2 inches of movement.
2 inches of movement, yeah. And they're just getting, and you're just like throwing Poxwalkers at them where they can't get anywhere. Yeah, that's.
Arby asked, so they get one back if they kill a model or a unit.
It's a model.
Each model they kill, non-monster vehicle. So each non-monster vehicle model that they kill, they get a dead model back.
Yeah, not to go over their starting strength either, by the way. Because it actually used to not be that way. I don't know. Did you play him in 8th, Cody?
I didn't. I owned them. I didn't really use them in 8th. But I know that they were really neat with typhus and stuff.
Yeah. I basically, you would like Congo line them across the board, and it worked like a big. It was like a big virus. Like it actually looked. If you looked at it like overhead, it kind of looked like a big virus. It was pretty cool the way that it operated. I can't remember all the rules. I know that you would get in touch with them, and there was a way to like bump them up to like strength 6, AP -1 or 2 or something like that. With there was something that they could do, and they were actually decent at close combat, and you would just like pick on small units and just keep growing and growing and growing to where you had like, you know, basically as many Poxwalkers as you could physically field. Yeah. It was ridiculous. There's
a have you seen the strat in here? The defensive strat that like soaks wounds. Go down to like I think it's literally the first strat.
After attacking unit has fought, roll 1d6 for each model unit that was destroyed as a result of those attacks on a 6.
No, not that one. Sorry, not that one. Maybe it's the second one. Scroll down. No, not Smear with Filth. I know that one. It's the Shambling Wall. Sorry, it's the last one, not the first one. Last one. Okay,
one Death Guard unit from your army that was selected as the target of one or more of the attacks, and one friendly Poxwalker is within 3 inches until the end of the phase. Okay, so you can pass. I'm assuming you can pass wounds off on the Poxwalkers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
each time you would allocate an attack to the model. Now, remember, an attack is the way you allocate attacks is, in this case, what you're going to be doing is they have to hit and wound you. You would then allocate that wound to a model, and then you would make a save for them. Now, this strat says don't make the save. Instead, you just remove a number of Poxwalkers equal to the damage characteristic. Now, I had an interesting conversation with a buddy of mine. If you're fast rolling and you roll like 4 las cannons into Morty, and all 4 last cannons wound Morty. Instead of saving any of them with Morty, I just remove 4d6 plus 4 Poxwalkers. Well, if I only have 3 Poxwalkers left alive, does 3 Poxwalkers soak 4 last cannons for 1 CP?
I feel like it would soak 3 of them.
Well, in theory, it should actually only soak 1 because you should roll it 1 at a time and you soak the damage of 1. However, the way that the wording is it doesn't spill, basically. So let's just say like you have 5 models left and you roll like 8 damage somehow. Like you have a melt gun and it does 8 damage. It soaks all 8 of that, even though there's only 4 models to die.
It's on the page. Each time you would allocate an attack to a model in your Derth Gerd unit, if your Poxwalker using it is visible to the attacking model, an eligible target for that attack, no saving throw is made for that attack. Instead, just a number of Poxwalkers from your Poxwalker unit equal to the damage characteristic of that are destroyed.
Yeah, it doesn't say what happens if it's excess. So it seems like to me that excess is lost.
That's gonna get errated very quickly. They're gonna have to change a lot of this, man. To be honest, like
it sure is,
dude. Just like briefly going over it because I really haven't had the time to like really go deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like just looking at it, like I just said, it like this is gonna be so hard to deal with. There's so much good, and the the models themselves are so good now. There's so much, like with the afflicted rule. That's actually something we skipped over, by the way. Afflicted, because that is. Say again.
Yeah, afflicted is just basically one of those auras you picked in the beginning plus -1 toughness.
Yeah, but it matters because you gain the afflicted keyword. So
yeah, which triggers a lot of rules.
There's a bunch of stuff. I mean, it just alone, like the predator. Like if you're afflicted and you get shot with a predator on like a 4-up, you take D3 mortal wounds additional. And there's more that's like that too. Like there's all kinds of rules that play off of the afflicted keyword.
RB said, "Who thinks about this stuff and doesn't think about the wording, or who writes this stuff and doesn't think about the wording?"
GW.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, man.
GW.
That was the answer to that.
Well,
That was
hold
the
on.
easy answer.
I'm gonna throw a little. I'm gonna defend GW here because I have
Devil's
written,
advocacy.
Yeah, I have. I've run crusades where we've done like house rules, and you try to think of all the ways that like, okay, how could it be broken like this? How could it be broken like this? I mean, don't get me wrong; they're getting paid to do this.
That's what I was about to say. You weren't getting paid to run that campaign.
But you'd be surprised at like how different other people interpret things and how you thought that you had all your bases covered, but then like you don't. You know what I mean? And somebody's like, well,
yeah,
that word's not in there, so that means I can do this. You know what I mean? That's like the difference between what's that one that's like eating, like having grandma over to eat and having grandma over to eat or something. I don't know if you remember. There's like a comma that's not there, and it's like anyway. Moving on really quick. Deadly vectors. In your opponent's command phase, roll 2d6 for each afflicted enemy unit, subtracting 1 from the result if that unit is below half strength. If the result is 6 or less, that enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. So
this one's neat. I like this one.
Yeah, I do too. I think I told you that this is the one that I liked, that I actually liked. Only because I don't want to go through everything, but there was some pretty cheeky little stratagems in here that I liked. Mortarian's Hammer. At the start of the battle round, select a number of enemy units that are more than 12 inches away from every model from your army that is on the battlefield until the end of the battle round. Those enemy units are afflicted. The maximum number of units you can select in this way depends on the battle size below, or on the battle, whatever. So at 2,000 points, you can select 2 units. It's not terrible. I mean, if you're adding blight launchers in there, that can bump those numbers up pretty quick, because I'm pretty sure blight launchers give the afflicted keyword when they shoot if they killed something or something. There's like I feel like they swapped the rules.
When they kill something, they like explode and do afflicted things around it.
Yeah, it's kind of a cooler way. I feel like they replaced that sort of mechanic from the words are not coming because I have been off of my meds for 2 days. the hell brutes. So like they used to basically put things in contagion from shooting. This kind of does the same thing, but a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit cooler, and it has definitely a chance of failure because I think it's on 5s with each surrounding unit. But I still think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Champions of Contagion at this manifold. I don't know what that word is either. At the start of the battle round, you can select one of the plagues listed in Nurgle's gift until the end of the battle. That is your chosen plague instead of any previously chosen plague.
This one's kind of weird because it's like it allows you to like adjust halfway through. I mean, actually, you can adjust consistently throughout it. Like this turn, I want this one. Next turn, I want this one because it's gonna be. It's like kind of reminds me a little bit of like how Space Marines work with their
take your meds
with their doctrines
or whatever. Oh,
with the doctrines. Yeah,
I was just
like
gonna
Gladius.
say, this is like doctrines basically.
Yeah,
it's okay. I think this one's like one of the less interesting ones.
It's definitely less interesting, but probably useful.
Yeah, for sure. It's not bad. I think that one's right there is cool. The Needle of Nurgle. Like the problem, like getting D3 Plague Marines back is kind of dope, honestly. Especially now that they're T6.
Definitely makes the Plague Surgeon at least viable in some capacity because it has not been viable for a while. Taliban Summoners.
Yeah, this is the Demon Detachment. It's not very good. You don't have to waste time looking at it.
Well, I'm sure somebody wants to know that hasn't seen it.
I will tell everybody the only Demon Detachment that is good right now is the World Eaters one.
I don't think I agree with that. I think Carnival has some play. I like Carnival.
It's okay. This one's the worst one. The Carnival's a little better than this one. The World Eaters one's actually good.
I haven't looked at it. Yeah, I haven't looked at
Blood
it.
Tide points.
Well, Plague Legion's unit from your army is within 7 inches of one or more Death Guard units from your army. The Plague Legion unit has a Nurgle's gift ability. While Death Guard is within 7 inches of Plague Legion's unit from your army, add 3 inches of Death Guard the unit's contagion range. It's not. When you start throwing in afflicted stuff, I think that might not be terrible. Like if you play a lot of the stuff that goes around that afflicted thing. And I think that was the last one, right? Yeah, and then it goes into the point values, which I probably shouldn't show, to be honest.
It's not accurate anyway. You don't have to worry about it.
All right, so moving on to the bread and butter here that you guys are probably excited about.
This one's fun.
So the blessings have changed. So
yeah, I actually want to ask Cody about that. So getting rid of the 2-inch move and the feel no pain and the advance and charge. How do you feel about that?
Your army's much slower.
Yeah, I know they buffed. Well, theoretically, I don't know if it's out yet, but they buffed some of the movement profiles.
Yeah. So most of the data sheets got plus 2 inches of movement baked into the data sheet. For example, like 8-bound are just 10 inches of movement base now.
Yeah.
So it's like you always have the blessing, but you lost your advance and charge, and that's really big.
I feel like that hurts. Reroll charges does not seem that. I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't seem as impactful as advance and charge. 100%.
Yeah, it's reroll charges is pretty nice, but like you're dropping a CP on the important charges that need to be rerolled anyway. Like so, and you really only have to like in theory do like once or twice. But I will say that reroll charges is not something to like scoff at. The next one I actually really like the 6-inch pylon and consolidate. I've always been a big fan of it. It can be really impactful. And then you still have your old ones like the sustain and stuff. So
I think the fight on death 4+ is dupe. I wish they traded that out for something. I just don't. I don't know. Every time I've used it, I felt bad about it afterwards.
I would say most of the game you're probably taking like charge or the pylon, and then you're taking sustain. I think the dev versus infantry only matters sometimes.
So real quick, do we want to run through the blessings, and then I'm gonna let you guys talk. I'm basically just gonna be here to move the computer screen, and that's about it. But because I'm not a World Eaters guy. I don't mind. I would love to listen, but I don't know anything about this, so I'll let you guys do that. But Unbridled Bloodlust, you can reroll charge rolls. Rage Field Invigoration. Each time a model in this unit makes a pylon or consolidation move, it can move 6 instead of 3. That's amazing. Each time a model in this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, if it has not fought this phase, roll a d6 on a 4+. Okay. Melee weapons equipped by models unit have the sustained hits. Oh, cool. They have a either
lethals. Yep.
I like the either or thing that they have here.
Mm-hmm.
Equipped by models unit have the sustained. You can get lethals and you can get dev.
Do you think that it would have been too game breaking for the dev wounds to be on anything?
Yeah, because of Exalted 8-bound. No, because of Exalted 8-bound. The Exalted 8-bound new data sheet says anti-monster, anti-vehicle 3-up.
Oh!
So if you give them dev, they just go into everything big and wipe it. Yeah, that's not fair.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that they got that new keyword. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the biggest changes here in this whole codex is that everything got pretty much baked in plus 2 inches of movement that was not a vehicle across the whole army. And then all of the guns in the book got 1 hit worse. So now instead of hitting on 3s, they hit on 4s, but almost all of them got rapid fire of some value.
Yeah.
Some of them only got like a shitty upgrade in rapid fire. Like for example, the Forge Fiends in here went from D3 to D3+1 if they're it's rapid fire 1. Right? So like that's not great. However, that same model's Hades autocannon was 4 shots before, but now it's rapid fire 6. So at half range it shoots 10 shots.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. The model shoots 20 shots that, oh man, just go to, actually, you know what? Let's just jump to the Forge Fiend really quick.
While we jump to that, I do want to talk about, I feel like the Berserkers got neutered.
Yeah, what?
They're strength 4 now.
Instead
they
of like
were strength 5.
Yeah.
I believe. And strength 4, it seems like a big downgrade. I mean, you can still run the Berserker Warband if you do want to do
+1 strength, yeah.
Yeah, or no, +2 now.
So this file that I have only shows the Khorne Lord of Skulls, unfortunately.
Oh, really? It doesn't show the Forge Fiends?
No, it just goes. It's got all the detachments and their abilities and their stratagems, and it stops on the Lord of Skulls.
He has no data sheets?
Nope.
Oh no, you got the wrong one.
I did get the wrong one.
Oh yeah, he did.
Well, while you guys do that, I'll see if I can try to find it.
Yeah, we'll touch on we can touch on in order just because the Berserker Warband stayed mostly the same, except now it's +2 strength instead of +1, and still kept the +1 attack, which I think that gives some play to the Berserkers. I just feel like the Berserkers feel a little bit weaker. And whenever you look at the other detachments, I know you were excited about the Demon one, but I really want to run the Cult of Blood for the having a bunch of Jackals and Goremongers with like the Lord of Skulls. I mean, I probably wouldn't be able to buy 3 Lord of Skulls for a hot minute, but it would be cool to have massive Jackals with their like idols in the background. It seems fun. Is it technically the best? But that was the one when I saw it, I was like, oh, that seems really cool. The Goremongers with their Infiltrate, I'm pretty excited about that because we didn't have access to Infiltrate before that. Yeah, so that's cool.
So I got the Berserkers pulled up. What?
We were just talking about how their melee profile is down 1 strength. Now it's strength 4 instead of strength 5.
Yeah.
I think they got an extra attack though, didn't they? Were they 4 attacks before? Or were they 3?
I can check.
What other unit did you want me to go to?
3.
I want you to go to the Forge Fiend.
I actually got to see the box the other day at one of the stores I went to, like the new big box that's coming out for them. They've got a new model that looks pretty cool.
Oh, the Slaughterbound.
Slaughterbound. They did have 4 attacks previously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, you're right. They got a little... All right, here we go. Okay, so if you look at their range weapons, you can see that they're hitting on 4s now. All Space Marine stuff historically hits on 3s. So they're hitting on 4s now. However, you can see that both profiles now have rapid fire. Well, those Hades autocannons are 6-shot space with rapid fire 4. At half range, so at 18 inches, they are shooting 10 shots with each gun. You get 2 of them. And then you still have an ectoplasm cannon in the mouth. when you look at their ability, it says each time this model makes a range attack at the closest target in 18, you get full rerolls to hit. That is 20 shots that hit on 4s with 2 damage apiece with full rerolls to hit.
That's nasty.
I can't wait. You're gonna see World Eaters with 3 of these.
So, believe it or not, side note that doesn't matter. Historically, in the past, Chaos Space Marines, their vehicles did hit on 4s.
Yeah, the Demon Engines did. Yeah.
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 That is gross, dude. That
That's
is
gross.
That is so gross.
Yeah, if you take one with all ectoplasm cannons, it's still good. The crazy thing about that is the blast. If you walk in from the side of the board from like reserve with one of these into like a squad of like, for example, Custodes, like we were just talking. Remember, I told you damage 3 is the breakpoint. You line up on a Custodes squad from the side. You only need to see one model. Each one will trigger blast for an extra shot. So at 18 inches, you'll have, on average, a D3 plus 2 per shot, and you have 3 of them. So you're shooting 12 shots at 3 damage apiece with full rerolls to hit on them. You're picking up like 3 to 4 custodians just from coming in from reserve, and you finding some. You pick up 3 or 4 custodians. That's like 200 points. That's the points cost of the model.
Hold on a second. It's rapid fire 1, so it's D3. Your average is 2, so you get 3 and then plus 1 because it's blast.
For blasts, and you have 3 of those. 3 ectoplasm cannons on one model.
Oh.
Yes. So it's 12 shots with full rerolls to hit.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just
now
saw
you
this.
See?
Yeah. I just saw. I was like, well, there's only 2. How are you getting that math? But then I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
you should.
okay.
So you'll hit 6 the first round, and then you'll pick up those 6 misses, and you'll hit 3 more. So you'll hit 9 times. You'll wound 6 times. They'll fail 3 of them. So you'll kill 3 models by coming in from reserve with this. That's like 150 points of custodians.
Yeah. Yeah, you should bring 3 of these for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Go to the Land Raider though. This thing, I can't wait. I want to play a list with at minimum 1, probably 2 on the Land Raider.
What good Land Raiders? Kyle's having conniptions right now.
And good Predators.
It's actually funny
Predators
that
are
you
good
say
too.
that. That was the first thing when he told me about the Land Raider. I was like, what? Land Raiders?
Bro.
His mind's going in overdrive right now.
You have no idea.
Spaghetti.
I can't wait. All right, this fucking thing got, and from my understanding, the points didn't change, so it's still like 250. It's got the same points. So still hits on 4s like everything else, but look at those fucking las cannons. The Shoal Shatter las cannons were always special las cannons because they just had an extra shot, right? Well, now they're a rapid fire 2 as well. So one model at 24 inches shoots 8 las cannon shots.
Ooh.
It still functions as a normal Land Raider, so you still get out and after it makes a normal move, and you can still charge. You still can. And now you can put 14 models in it, which means that a 6 block of possessed and their leader can go inside of it. And just to add like insult to injury, look at the combi bolter, bro. The combi bolter is a 2-shot gun with rapid fire 4. What? It's 6 shots at 12 inches. Why is it 6 shots?
It's doing it. They're doing the. I feel like the focus, and that's I'm just upset about Angron. These are cool, but
I know I'm a little disappointed that
for
you're
Angron.
not like, dude, you are not matching Cody's vibes at all right now. Like he is so
really
excited.
Bro, I'm like giddy about this book right now.
I really like the one. And it's probably not the best, but I like the one with the Jackal spam. But I want Angron to be better because he's my best painted model.
Did the
Yeah,
Land Raider
sorry.
always
I
have
feel
9
like I can't-
attacks?
In melee, no.
No, not at all. I think it had 4.
No, actually, I think it had 6 or 8.
I can tell you right now.
It had a decent.
I know it
amount.
had 2. You could equip 2 of the Soul Shatters, whatever they were. Let me look it up. Hold on.
Well, I was talking about
Pick 2.
the armored
6.
tracks.
It had 6 before. Now that one has 9 because it's corn
That's
and
strength
World Eaters
8.
and
That's
yeah. There's also
Oh god, it did.
I forgot to mention one of the World Eaters attachments is really good. I feel like you would love this attachment, John. It's when you get out of your vehicle, like when you leave a transport, you get lance and +1 +1 to charge. I think it is. It's
Yeah,
+1 to charge and lance.
That one I thought was really cool. It's like the gore bound track or something like that.
Yeah.
Gore track onslaught. God,
Yeah.
these words. Yeah, no, that one I really like that
double
one.
Land Raider, bro. You get 16 las cannons.
The demon one I thought was cool because I do want to bring Scarbrand, and then Cold of Blood because it's kind of like a meme.
This one's super good.
Yeah, the Gore Track Onslaught. It actually has cool stratagems too. It has some stuff where you could actually get out 6 inches into combat. If somebody shoots at I believe it's it's a stratagem where if they shoot at the vehicle.
Yeah, right there. Unrelenting advance. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
They shoot your vehicle. Your stuff that's inside the vehicle can get out and move 6.
Yeah, and it can go into combat.
And it cannot. Yeah.
Oh, look at this, dude! And with this one, okay, hold on. Let me make sure that you guys aren't. Were you talking about you guys still talking about the what's it called, right? The Land Raider
track. Oh yeah.
Okay,
that's a part of it.
You see, you got the old make a normal move, and you can declare a charge for a CP out of a Rhino.
Yep. Super good. And there's an enhancement that you can put give the squad scouts, which means that the Rhino would have scout.
That's so good.
So you can, if you get to go first with a scouting, which if your Rhino has scout, you get to know if you want to move it first or not. So you get to scout it. It's like scout 9 on it. Then you move your 10 or 12 with the Rhino, and then you get out and charge.
So it makes it a normal advance. That's probably why they dumbed down the. In fact, I can guarantee that's probably why they dumbed down the Berserkers a little bit, because that would be ridiculous, right?
What do you say?
I was just saying, I'm assuming that this type of shenanigans here is probably why they dumbed down the.
The Berserkers.
Yeah, the Berserkers a little bit.
Oh, and the Berserkers too. I was talking about the aggressive disembarkation, which is I read that wrong. It's in your movement phase, you can disembark within 6 inches of the Rhino into engagement range, which is a way to get her. I mean, of course, you won't be fighting first, but it's a way to get around Overwatch in case you're worried about that.
Unless you have something that has fights first.
I don't think any units in our codex do anymore. They got rid of it on the Master of Executions, and he was the only one.
You also might be thinking about the Berserkers getting out of the Rhino, because Blood Surge allows you to go into melee. So that one's the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the Rhino has to lose a wound. Oh, no, sorry, it still has wounds, sorry. And then they get out, they disembark 3 inches, and then they Blood Surge. So if you're near something, they can get into combat that way. Yeah,
that can be gross. That has a lot of play, actually. This was the one that I thought would be cool, but man, I was so excited about the Jackals and their little idols and getting their invul. Just running a ton of those,
I do just want to touch on the Predators real quick before my time runs out. If you wouldn't mind hopping to the Predator Annihilator.
Ooh. With that rapid fire stuff, I could imagine it is very good.
Yeah, so remember the top gun on all las cannon Predators is 1 shot normally. It's 1 shot at strength 14 twin linked. That's what makes it the top double las cannon really good. Well, wait till you see it on this.
Rapid fire 4.
No, but
I actually haven't seen these yet. I've only looked at the detachments.
It's good, bro. There it is. So the Predator twin las cannon, still strength 14 minus 3d6 plus 1, but it is a rapid fire 2 now. So at 24 inches, you shoot 3 shots with its top las cannon. That's really good.
That is disgusting.
And then it gets rerolled wound rolls and damage rolls when it shoots monsters and vehicles with an 18.
Did it used to be only damage?
It used to be only damage, but there was no restriction on distance. So this has to be the closest monster vehicle and with an 18. However, it's reroll wound and damage. So its regular las cannons are basically twin linked now. So it shoots 5 las cannon shots instead of 3 like the old days. 5 las cannon shots at a monster, all twin linked, and reroll damage. Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, that's gross. I kind of like how they did everything like. They kind of buffed up the vehicles to make them more close combat because it's very corn themed. You want to get as close as possible, and incentivizing bringing things that kind of shoot. Because if you can't hit them with your axe, you might as well shoot them. So
Go look at the
Little
other
bit of it.
Predator real quick. If I remember right, it didn't get as nice of a glow up, but it's
The
still pretty good.
Disruptor
Yeah, the
with
anti-imagery
the
one.
rapid.
It already had it already had rapid fire 2 before. So now it's rapid fire 6. Is that what this says? So it's still good. It went from 6 shots to 10 shots. Because it was 4 shots rapid fire 2, now it's 4 shots rapid fire 6. Whenever you're shooting at infantry, oh yeah, it suppresses them. So that's not as good because before it had an extra AP. Now it is -1 to hit.
AP2 is a big because almost everything's gonna have cover. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
and then
there's
you
some way to
take
give
the
it.
two heavy bolters on the sides, so you get 10 extra heavy bolter shots with sustained 1. It's still good. I mean, you're shooting. That's 10 damage 3 shots coming out of it.
Yeah,
It's good.
I don't think you can give it an extra AP though. Was that what you were about to say?
Yeah, I just figured there was something somewhere in the book has got to be able to give it an extra AP. That seems pretty standard in everything right now.
Not in the this detachment. I'm not
I don't
seeing
think
it.
in this one. Oh, John, have you seen the new Corn Lord and its changes? Because all of its guns got rapid fire also.
No, I did not.
Yeah, look at the Corn Lord, bro.
Oh, that's so. My list is a thing.
Yes. All right. This is my
real.
last model. This is the last one, and then I have to go be a faithful husband.
What am I looking at?
The Corn Lord of Skulls.
Oh, the Lord
Big
of Skulls.
guy, the big guy that you hated that exploded twice in the game we played. That should jog the memory.
That was some horse shit.
We played a game and I had both mine explode.
They
on top
did more.
of his units.
They did more damage to me than the actual models themselves. Like,
yeah, it was great. I loved it.
So just so everyone's aware, none of these guns had rapid fire before.
Yeah, they did not.
So like, oh my god, look at the top gun, the Demon Gore. It's now D6 plus 3 shots instead of D6.
And it's blast.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
not
you were
that
so
that's
cooked.
Yeah, this is good. The Gore Storm is now D6 plus 6 instead of D6 plus 3. Yeah, man, these guns are sexy. The Skull Hurler.
This just isn't very World
D6
Eaters.
plus 3.
No, it is because they have to
it
do what they can. They're throwing their weapons at you in close combat. Yes, it is.
My buddy is very frustrated because he's saying that this is the same ballistic skill as Tau, but they shoot better than Tau now.
Yeah, okay, so that I can agree with. Tau is not like people are like, oh, Tau's the shooting army. Are they really though? Everything hits on 4s except like the commanders and the breachers.
And you have all kinds of ways of making that not true. Airman
plus,
said,
I can make it +1. I can make it 3s, and I
drive
can
my
ignore
tank
hit
closer
modifiers.
so I can hit them with my sword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, this is literally, look at this fucking axe, the Great Cleaver of Corn. Will
Yeah.
wax you for 8 damage.
I am more excited now that I've seen. I actually have not looked at I couldn't find a easy way to access the actual data sheets. I was only looking at the detachments. I'm like, these are cool, but geez, the rapid fire is a big change.
Clover said that Cody sounds like he should be a narrator for a PGA fucking
Tour?
What, like a golf tournament?
Yeah, golf tournament.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult. I actually live.
Heck.
I live 3 minutes from PGA National, so.
Well, I think you try to keep your voice down because you've got
because my wife's behind me.
right.
And cut me
So-
shortly. Oh, you're right. You're right. And then the golf clap. Okay.
What the fuck? 8 damage?
Farewell, guys.
Good
It
lord.
Yeah,
was
they
a
did that.
pleasure.
But I think they did 6 before, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
because
it was 8 before.
Oh, it was 8 before. Oh, because Corn's. I knew it was Corn's number, for sure.
All right. Hope I was helpful for explaining some of the new shenanigans and bullshit that exists in the game.
You got me more hyped for World Eaters, but less hyped because they're not models I own.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I have. What about the Mauler Fiend? Please tell me the Mauler Fiend's good. At least do
It's
that.
okay.
Okay.
If I remember right, I don't think its Meltagun got rapid fire, unfortunately. If it did, I would say it'd be good. But either way.
Don't say that.
No,
I have him built.
I know you need to go, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna stay on here for a second and talk to
Yeah.
chat because I've missed out on like all of the conversation that
You're
they
free to go because you've broken my heart.
No, I appreciate you.
Well, they did.
Oh, no, they
did
are
give it
get
rapid fire.
but 3 inches.
Yeah, that's
So you rapid fire while you're in combat.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I mean, it's not
Yeah.
terrible, right?
No, it's not.
I think the fists went up in attacks.
Let him go, John. Let him.
All right.
Okay,
Bye,
okay. I'm
guys.
sorry.
Farewell.
We love you. Bye.
Later, brother. Appreciate you hanging out.
Even though you've broken my heart and wallet, probably.
I don't know, man. I've been having to like search and find new things, and I really like I hate it because I feel like I missed on some like really juicy stuff in the freaking chat that
I'm gonna
sure
be honest.
is not
Yeah.
related to 40K whatsoever.
Oh no, I got moved. How did this happen?
Oh shit!
Why
Hold
am
on.
I so far over there?
Let me fix
Ah.
it. I shall fix it.
Yeah, I started getting really excited because this is actually the first time I've been able to glance at the data sheets because the ones I had earlier were not correct. I was only looking at the detachments, so that's kind of cool.
You're gonna need to move a little to your left.
I can do that.
There you go. Perfect.
Perfect. Very nice.
Perfectamundo. Yeah, I'm super hyped for Derth Gerd. Although I am hyped, but I'm also completely aware that it's totally gonna get nerfed. It has to.
See, my thing is, I see something new, I want to play it, but I really got to get my Tau game down. Even though they're not what's hot, I like the aesthetic, and I need to play them better. But that's not to say I won't be playing a couple World Eater games on stream with the new detachments for those watching and are interested in future content.
For the
Mhm.
new detachments.
I know that. I'm trying to talk with pizzazz. Don't mock me in front of my friends.
I am not mocking you in the least, buddy.
I was kidding.
Joke. But yeah, no, that was fun actually. Kind of speed going through it, so we're not like, because I know we did this before and we did it with the. Unfortunately, when I get a new codex, I get a little antsy in the pantsy, and I want to sit there and freaking talk a little too much probably, but I'm excited for both of these, man. That new box that they have, dude, it like I actually got to put my hands on it. Like that shit looks I'm super stoked for it. It looks really good. And for World Eaters, I don't really, it's not that I don't care about World Eaters, I'm just not a World Eaters guy. You know what I mean?
And it gives you a ton of stuff you need.
Yeah.
I think it's really good value.
I don't know how much it costs.
It's like 230, something like that.
Fuck my life, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to be picking it up anytime soon, but eventually, I'll pick it up. I'll get it. Because it's their new Battle Force. So
I don't know. I don't know what I've got going. I don't know what we got going on this weekend. I don't know if we have any. Go ahead.
I have work this weekend, so I will not be here. But Thursday, I'm free.
Yeah, and then the following weekend, I've got work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll figure it out. If not, I could just always get a fun little horror game stream in, where I don't need John dragging me down by dying all the time.
You're alive. I save you because I die. I die for you. Also, chat is going crazy.
Oh shit! I didn't actually mean to hit that.
We hit it.
Let's objectify him more. What are we talking about? All right, so hey, hold on. Somebody give me an update on what I missed, because I know that I missed a lot. I know that I missed something talking about ass hair, and then there was something about John shaving, and then I don't really care to talk about any of that. But it seemed like there was a lot of fun going on, and I feel like I've missed out on a whole lot.
High school all over again. I hate it.
Fucking clever. Wind is 4 miles southeast. He's so stupid. I think we're all waiting for John to show off his chest pubes. Nope, that's right there again. I sent a picture of a clay sculpture that was entirely balls and a tiny tip. God damn it. And said, John, this is you. Good Lord, man. John has the best smelling behind the knee sweat.
Very true. 10 out of 10 would agree.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna probably. There's some. Actually, you know what? If you're on the Discord and there is a game that you have been wanting to see, please. You misbraided ass hairs. Come. I missed it. Did you just block that? Oh no.
No, I didn't.
Drugs and a bunch more. Damn, man, that sucks. Well, we're about to raid Morty and Glory live. Super cool guy. He focuses a lot, almost entirely, almost exclusively on Imperial Guard. And I know he was talking about, did Warhammer just break again? So I'm actually kind of interested to hear what he's got going on. But yeah, we'll end up. I'm sure I'll get something in this week. We're going to try to do these types of streams every other Monday. So if you guys are on the Discord and you want us to break down an army like this style, I feel like this is a pretty good, it's 2 hours. It wasn't terrible. Let us know and we can, because it forces me to learn an army I don't know. And you know, it's not bad. It was actually a lot of fun. So, I appreciate everybody hanging out, and we will see you guys on the next one.
Take it easy.
Yeah, man, you missed the whole jizz. God damn it. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Flip it.
Oh, shit.
And